Monk mode works. You've proven it. You disappear, you cut everything off, and for a while you become someone else. Focused, clear, dangerous, which is very good. But then, 2 weeks later, something happened. You're back where you started. Same habits, same patterns, same ways. That's not because you are weak, it's because monk mode was never designed to last for a very long time. Monk mode is a sprint, and no one taught you what comes after the sprint. So every time you do it, you are basically borrowing performance from your future. You are not building it. If you've been stuck in that cycle and you know what that feels, this is exactly for you. Because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why monk mode always collapses and what's missing from the system. And most importantly, the simple structure that actually makes the results stick and compound in a way that monk mode, once you apply it, you can last it forever. Monk mode underneath works. I did it many times, you probably did it many times. But the issue is, for how long can I keep that state of isolation, of focus? Because somehow along the journey, something falls off. I need to adjust. It's too much pressure in that. It becomes too much pressure. The thing is with monk mode that they don't sell you is that it's architecture for sprinting. Okay, it's a sprint. It works perfectly because that isolation gives you the perfect silence to noise. It cut the noise out of everything, and you have that focus. You know what you have to do, both physically, mentally. You are there. In monk mode, it works. The thing is, we need to understand why it doesn't last and how to make it last properly. And we do this with what is called energy architecture that compounds, not the sprint that compound. Okay, because monk mode, it gives you you know what you have to do. You have some principles that you have to respect, and you do them. But beneath that, I'm gonna show you in a second. There are during one single day, there are 3 levels of energy architecture that you have to know at the beginning of the day that allow you to not only do monk mode and be in that state, but allow you to learn how to be in that state for very, very, very long period of times without doing up and downs, up and downs. I do monk mode, then I cannot hold it, and then I come back to the old habits, and then I do no. That one is not sustainable. That is gonna put along the way too much suffering in what you are doing, and it's not worth it. Okay, so this is 3 levels are going to basically give you the principles that you must follow because before you apply monk mode, that are going to allow you to, yes, architect the energy for compound, make stable the work that you do in a long, long, long period of time, and not the work only that you do, but how you do it, how you perform it. You don't have to isolate yourself from life itself to get results. You need to find the balance and to find the structure, the architecture that compounds over time. Okay, and you do this in a very specific way. For me, it was I always was in chaos with my mind. I always have too many informations, and I know I can do things and I can accomplish goals, but I always want to do more than one thing at the same time, and I always want new knowledge, new information. So for me in the past, it was always difficult to focus, isolate, and do only one thing, pam, 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 and get the results. When I start doing that, I got the results, and I viewed monk mode as a way to, okay, when I need that time of focus, I do it, boom. When I don't need, I chill, I stay more relaxed, I don't need to isolate myself, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that at the beginning, when you do that, I don't know how many times you try monk mode, it works, it's good, but at some point something starts missing because you feel like at some point you don't want to go in isolation mode. You've already been there, you don't want that. Okay, so the question is, how do we create with monk mode that it becomes a daily thing? Okay, it's a daily isolation, but it's structured with architecture that allows you to have always that focus for how much time that you want, without the pressure that monk mode requires, and the ultra focus isolation that it's okay, but it's not needed in that way, because we need to have something stable that compound with the less amount of effort possible and pressure possible, because we want things to last for a very long time. And we're going to see, and you are going to see and understand how everything changes once you start with this. I'm gonna be very detailed, so you can apply immediately after this video from tomorrow, so you can see actually how this system works for yourself. The first thing is called commanding the energy of the day. You do the first thing when you wake up, 1 hour, and basically commanding the energy. Doesn't matter what you're going to do that day. It means that you're gonna feel how is your energy when you wake up. You're gonna go into stillness, and you're gonna be specific in commanding the energy. Today I command my day to execute tasks with precision, with clarity, to not allow myself to be distorted by distractions. I will not allow myself to blah blah blah. And I will do things in this way. And you are specific with that, and you give it time, 30 minutes, 1 hour. This is gonna set the mode, not the mood, the mode of yourself for the day. These things are not automatic. They can be automatic, but they need your thinking and repeating inside the mind, even out loud for the command is even better, in order for you to install this system in yourself. Because this is what comes before anything that you're trying to do. Anything. It's the operating system that you have before doing any action. Okay, even before learning something new and then apply. This is the operating system that allows you to not only apply, but you do it correctly, it compounds correctly, and give you the results that you want in the time that is fair. Not too long, not too many mistakes, not too much fatigue in the process. So it's very important. You command the energy in the morning. Okay. The second is the output. The output, once you command the energy and you go into stillness in the first 30 minutes to 1 hour, you're going to be able to have clarity on what is the output today. Okay, I'm doing monk mode, I'm doing isolation, blah, blah, blah. But for what? It's not I need to be present in that appointment, or I have to do that task that I really need to do. That is not the output. The output, it means that you have a specific understanding of why you're doing something, what is going to happen, and when during that day. Okay, so let's say that you have an appointment, and in that appointment you are doing because you have I don't know, you want to achieve you have a deal to close 5k. This 5k, they allow you to invest in something that you want to invest. Okay, now the output, this is the goal. Okay, the output in that day is understanding everything that is going to happen before that meeting. Make sure that those things happen before the meeting and inside the meeting, and at the end of the meeting you're going to be one step closer to this. So it's the specificity of what you are doing before, it must be clear. Okay, and you repeat it once, you stay in that state, and then what you are going to do during the day is going to be correlated to the energy that you commanded through this output that you're going to achieve during that day. Okay, every day you have to look at it's a part of a bigger picture. The 7 days, the 14 days, the 28 days, they're all connected. But even like all 24 hours, it's an entire microcosm. Okay, and you have to win the day in that sense. There are some days that you don't win because the energy is a little bit scattered and stuff, but most of the days you can win it if you have a structure like that. Okay, and this doesn't require effort. It requires a little bit of focus and thinking at the beginning, and then it becomes automatic. Now, what I call is the most important, that will make all the difference for you, that will make monk mode, focus, isolation easy for you, is what I call architectural closing of the day. And we call it architectural closing day. Okay, ACD. Now, architectural closing of the day is something that basically, who is trying to do business, who is trying to build things, who is trying, whatever is it, learning, I don't know, I don't care. It's we are all doing some action to get to achieve some goals. This is what make us basically not make the progress that we have last for a lot of time, because most of time what we do, it lasts, it compound a little bit, then it fragments, then we get some results. But for how long do we can get those results? For a very long time, many years. ACD, architectural close of the day. It means that you need to know at the beginning of the day how the day is going to close and when. Okay, because probably you are pushing it and you're working over hours, you're working too much, you're putting too much effort, too much time during the day that goes to business, focus, work, blah blah blah. Less is more. Less focus, less work, less effort is what is making you compound in the long run and give you the results that you see. Right now you have that urgency of doing things, so you don't respect, you're not doing this, and you don't respect the energy during the day. Okay, and I will explain to you in this way. The day, there are 4 parts. Okay, the first part, let's call it the morning, when you wake up, the first 2, 3, 4 hours. Now this part, and listen, because this, once you understand this concept, everything is going to change. You're going to be able to apply monk mode for how much time that you want, without pressure and without that crazy isolation and focus that at some point break. Okay, and everything changed when you apply this system. It took me many years to understand. This phase is for yourself, for your mind, for your energy, for your subconscious. Okay, it's for activating your vessel within and without. This phase is, there is no input, there is no noise. Not, you should not consume information, have sounds input. No, this is for stillness, slow movement, for some certain kind of chanting that you do. This is, can be advanced, but it is not a time for business or creation. Okay, and I will say the first 2 or 4 hours. Okay, bam. Now understand this, because this is connected to the architectural closing. If you do this right, I assure you, it's not going to be long until you understand what it feels like to run a system like this, how you operate. Now, these 2 parts, this is approaching the midday, and this is midday before the dark. Okay, approaching the midday before the dark. Now, inside here, it's very important. There is a part where it's very important that we rest the energy, meaning we don't have input and we don't do output. We reset our energy here. But in this space, this is the most important, the one that this is the space that gives you the most intuition, the most creativity, the most creative power, the most action, the most energy. And it sits between 9 to 11, 11:30, 12. This is very important. Okay, this is where you do the most important tasks. This is where you do the most important tasks. How you do them, okay, whatever. This is where you do the most important tasks. Here, I would say in between 2, 3, and 5 to 6 p.m. before the sunset. Here is where the work is more strategic work, reviewing work, seeing what's happened, adjusting things, details. Okay, understand what can I upgrade, blah blah blah. And it's very important, this distinction, because once you have these windows, you have it doesn't matter if you put where to put the focus. You are sure that whatever that you are doing, you are covering all layers. Now you cannot drag, and this is the part that you must understand, you cannot drag down this work that you do here, or quality work here, because most builders, founders, if you are creating something, most of times, because we want things that are done and whatever, and some days are good, some days they are not good, what blah blah, there is this roller coaster, we bring this work here. Now this is the problem, because this open a loop that you don't want. It make you working harder and pushing harder than you should, and you don't respect the time. This is the architectural closing. Stop thinking about business, stop thinking about creation, stop thinking about movie. You go into stillness. Okay, you the artificial phone, computer, sounds go away. Okay, the artificial light goes away. You use the natural light, you use the candles. Those are little things that are going to make all difference for you. Okay, you are preparing your quantum sleep. When you sleep, you are doing more than business. When you sleep, you are not only recovering, you are allowing your awareness, your consciousness to expand and give you the knowledge and the clarity that you need the way that you wake up. And for you to apply it, if you are silent and you give the right command. Understand what I'm talking about? So this is important as much as this. So if you fuck it up, this part, because you bring the work and that you didn't do here, or because you want to do more here, you cannot last long time with this focus, isolation, and compounding architecture. So you need to install this compounding architecture, and this is the most important part. I put focus on it because I want you to really understand. This is it. If you learn how to close the day, you go into stillness, you prepare your quantum recovery. The most easy thing that you can do here is go into stillness. Okay, no thoughts. It is not even I wouldn't call it a meditation. There is a specific series of movement you can do to relax your nervous system. Very important to do. Elixir that you can take to calm down the mind, the thoughts, and start opening the third eye. There are many things that you are not doing on the vessel, and too many things that you're doing on the output, on the focus, on the things that you. But you need to take care of this first, okay? And we take care of this in this part and in this part, okay? It's not business creation, focus, isolation all time. No, pam, business, focus, isolation, pam. This is how to get that rhythm that allow that famous monk mode to compound and compound and compound. I hope the concept is clear, and I suggest you go back, because once you get this right, everything changes for you. Everything in the way you operate. Okay. Now, what I have applied to make sure that these things I can implement it fast, personally, it's what I call the Edenic morning architecture, and is a way of using the time and the energy in the most important hour of the day, which is the first time, the first time that your eyes open. So when you are awake in the morning, it's allowing you to have that clarity to command correctly this energy, to have the clarity on this output, and to increase all the levels of clean dopamine. Like not in a with the coffee, not with any kind of movement. No, this is what is making you go in a state that I call the state that you are most at peace, most balanced, the best energy. And it gives you that awareness, that peace of mind and clarity that you already won the day there if you apply it. It changed everything. And since I know that you need it, it's completely free. You find it in the description and follow the steps and apply it without changing one single thing for 7 days. And then we talk again. Okay, this is a gift for you. Apply it, because before any kind of action, there is the command of energy. Before commanding the energy, we have to understand, you have to understand how to command that energy in the first place, how energy works, and why the first hour of the day is the most important. Okay, so monk mode is not a lie, but we need to install an architecture that makes this sprint compound over time. In that way, you're going to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve faster, without so much pressure that we don't need. And I would say enjoying the process without isolating yourself from life itself. With that said, this is it for this transmission. I see you in the next one. See you, brother.